This is the card we're going to make with the JND392 diorama. So this is a beautiful example of what you can make using that die and other dies in the set. In this video demonstration, I'm going to show you one of the ways to use the brand new JND392 diorama card. Now this is a very simple die and it's designed to make you something quite simple like this, where we have the whole sort of diorama with the different layers showing, but of course folds completely flat for posting. But this can also be used to make beautiful things like this 3D sort of light up card, which I'll be showing you in another demonstration. It can also be used to make you a kind of flip book or memory book. There are lots, again, there'll be another video demonstration for making this one. But I wanted to show you the basics today and how we can actually use this to make a very, very beautiful card, as you saw at the beginning of the video. So I'm going to use the JND392, which is the diorama card. I'm also going to be using in this JND419, which is the brand new Deer Scenes 2023, which is a completely new deer scene set with a much larger sort of 5-inch square deer scene in there. You also get the outline, you get the individual deers, but this time you also get individual hills, so you can put different hills at different heights and different deers on and different effects. This will also work with the previous scene dies that we've done. So here you can see being used with previous deer scenes or just using the lines with some little trees on there. We're also going to be using the contents of the JND Project Book 1. So I'll put that the other way around. And in this, we're just going to be using the smaller opposite sized deer scenes, but again in here you get an outside line, you get some beautiful winter trees and lots of little animals to actually put into the trees or on the ground or anything. So those are the 3 die sets we're going to be using in this video. So to start with, we're going to cut the diorama card, and for most of these you are going to need 2 pieces cut. So I've just chopped my card down to A5, really very, very simple, and I'm just going to pop this down onto my card using a little bit of the Craft Artist low-tack tape. We'll run that through our die cutting machine and cut it, and it will fit all A5 and above die cutting machines. And when it's cut, we get this piece, and this has all of the lines already scored in it. So all you need to do is to fold it onto its front and fold each line. So mountain, valley, mountain, valley, mountain. So we're creating a zigzag. And this is what we're going to be using to actually put our different layers of our scenes on. So the next thing we need to do is to cut a second piece for the front. And I've done that here. So I've got that, and I've already folded it because we're going to cut the aperture in. So we need to make sure we've made those folds first, as when you go through the machine, you will lose them. And for this one, I want to cut a circle aperture. So I'm going to be using a circle die, I should say, and a piece of the Crafts 2 template sheet to make sure I get this perfectly in the middle. So I've cut my template sheet down to 5 by 5, and I find one of the easiest ways to do this when you're doing it exactly to size is put them together, pop them onto the plates of your machine and tape it down to the machine. That will actually stop you. It will actually stop it moving. As you can see there, the card's slightly sliding, but then I tape it down and the card is stuck in position. And that allows me to make sure I get this circle completely in the right place. And what I've used for this is I'm using a 4-inch circle from the press cut nesting die sets. So if you've got the larger set, this is die number 17. And all I do is place it evenly between these lines here, making sure that it's nice and even, and that way we get the aperture exactly in the front. We simply tape that down, pop our plates on, and you can see now it's all held as a sandwich. I'll bring my machine in. I'm using my Kaleido, and I simply run that through the machine. That way I make sure that the aperture is exactly in the center. So when we lift that off, you'll see there that my aperture is exactly there in the center of the piece of card, which is what we want. So to decorate this, I'm going to use some of the John Next Door Genoa Corners, which is a die set that we did as an exclusive on Create and Craft. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue glaze onto these and just put them almost to the edge, and this just gives a beautiful little sort of front piece to it. I've already got a piece that's already been cut and done that way, so we'll move that out of the way, and here you see we've got those 4 beautiful corners on. So there we have our front, and here we have our back. So we simply rotate that, we put that together, and there is the start of our very simple diorama card. So we now need to put something into the center. So I'm going to start by a back panel, and using the Winter Trees embossing folder that comes in the box kit set, I've embossed a piece of satin card. So here, very simple, just embossed, and you get that beautiful tree effect in there. And this is a standard embossing folder, so it's not too deep. And I'm just going to add a little bit of craft artist glue onto the back of there. Makes it so much easier. And this is going on the back, so I'm making sure that these panels are either to the front or to the side, whichever side you want to do it on. So we're going to put it that way. So I'm going to make sure that they're on this right hand side, and I simply marry up my piece, and this has been cut to just short on 5 inches. So you can see there we now have our very simple background in for our aperture. So now I need to cut the scenes to go in there. So I'm simply going to take a piece again of white card. I'm using Essential White card from Craft Artist, and I just want to show you the cut on this. The aperture inside is 5 inches. So to make sure everything fits, you want to cut that slightly less. So I go to just before 5 inches. So I'm almost taking a little 1/16 of an inch off. If you're doing it in metric, you want to make it 12.5 centimeters. So here I have my piece cut, and I've now cut 2 pieces, a square and a strip. Nice and simple. And all I'm going to do is to take the 2 pieces of the deer scene dies, so the new one for 2023 and the box kit one, and obviously the larger pieces will be at the back. So I place them onto the square and put that nice and centrally into there and tape that down. The smaller ones will be in the front, so they go on the smaller piece of card. The reason I do it on a smaller piece of card is it means that they will exactly fit together, and you can decide where you want to put them. Do you want them central? Do you want them off to one side? Do you want to, you've got a real choice of where you want these to go. So I'm going to go central with both of those, and I'm simply going to run those through my die cutting machine and cut them out. Let's put them on the right way so that we just get that right. So again, put them on nice and centrally, and we'll simply run that through our die cutting machine and cut those. So I want to show you how we actually take them out of the cut piece. So here's the 2 pieces that we've just cut. I'll remove them away from my Kaleido base plates, and you'll see if I lift off the dies, the pattern is cut in but doesn't cut on the sides. So all you need to do is to take a pair of scissors and finish off the line in any way that you like. So here it sort of edges down, so I'm just going to cut to it, and here I could go up and come down to it. It doesn't matter. We simply release those out from the paper, and there you can see we have our 2 deer strips. So now we want to attach those into our diorama card pieces. So I'm going to bring back in the back panel, open it out, and obviously it's these 2 lines here that you want to attach it to. So I'm going to turn those onto their back and put a little bit of power tape, which is the strongest tape. I would really recommend using power tape for this. If you haven't got power tape, you can use a red line tape, but use a decent red line tape. They are not all the same, as I say so many times. Because it's obviously spanning a gap, we want a nice strong bond, which is why we're using the power tape. So we cut that off and then simply remove your tape and attach that in to the back panel, butting it up there, just like that. So you can see there where it's attached in to the back panel. We do exactly the same with the second one, but we're going a step forward. So we open that out. And again, making sure it's straight on the bottom, we attach that in. So you start to see now how your panels are held at different heights. So now we simply need to add in the next side. So take a strip of power tape and put it along this front line here. And then we can flick out our two pieces and again add some power tape just on the edge of that piece. We will flick out the second one and we'll add some power tape on to that piece. Cut that off, and again I'm going to do this stage at a time, so I'm going to reveal that tape and bring in my front panel, and we're matching, so we want to adhere. Sorry, the one thing I should say first, we want to add some tape down this back strap there. That's how we're going to attach it on. So we basically put some tape onto there like that, and we're going to reveal that tape. So we marry the two pieces together, making sure it's evenly buttered up to that corner. We pull our first step in and we attach our piece, pulling it over. This is why you want to use power tape, because we want to make sure that the tension is right and is held. We then want to flip out and take the power tape off the next section, and again we fold this one in. We bring this together and you notice it pulls the tension together. We simply then fold down this side just like that. Again, reveal the tape and we close our card, matching those two sections together nicely, and press. Give it a good fold, and there we have our diorama card with all of our distance, with using absolutely no foam tape. We get a completely freestanding 3D card and it folds completely flat. And all I'm going to do now is to decorate this. So I'm just going to add some of the beautiful John Next Door mistletoe. This has been cut in silver glitter card. Let me just stick that on there. And then I'm simply going to add 3 of the Inkit poinsettia, again cut in the same satin card. And it's the reason we do this on the front is to bring that beautiful satin card from the front to the back. So we'll just give those a little press. And then I've got a little spare piece of mistletoe here just to finish it off. And again, I can take then a little bit of mistletoe, put some glue on the front, and I'm going to hang that coming from the inside, just like that. So again, every time I do this, it works, apart from when I'm doing it for a video. So we just tape that on. That's because my fingers are sticky. So let's just have another go. If that struggles, as it happens to all of us, just take a little bit of glue. There we go. And we'll put that into place just like that. So it's hanging over. Change fingers so that I don't get it too gluey. There we go. Hangs there. and take a final little piece there, and we'll hold that in. In fact, that's just going to keep dropping out, so we'll go and cheat this one a little bit, and we'll pop it under there. There we go, hanging over the aperture. And there is our beautiful diorama card, made very, very simply, completely 3D, but folds completely flat for postage. For more ideas, hints, tips and inspiration, why not visit the Crafting with John Next Door and Crafts 2 group on Facebook. Enjoy.